Okay, a quick video here to clarify that mess of class. This is the easiest way to me to uh, resolve the issue. I've gone through, as I've done before, and created a Jupyter notebook with the early processing. Okay, I start up here, I read in the file, I check it out, I print the first 20 lines, and you can see I have a two-dimensional list. Then I move to the next step in the assignment where I have to create a new list of just the year, the name of the state, the political party of the candidate, the total vote, the votes cast for that candidate, and the total votes cast. This is the same as I did in class. So I have my new list, which is my new data structure. I create a new row. I'm going to append. Now, for simplicity later on, I'm going to convert the year into an integer. It makes it easier for comparison purposes. Then I'm going to add the state name, and I'm going to strip out those double quotes so I don't have to deal with them later on like I did in lecture. Then I'm going to add the political party, and again, I'm going to strip out the double quotes so that I don't have to deal with them again. And then I'm going to add the number of votes cast for this party and the number of votes cast overall, and I'm going to convert them both to integers. To verify that this works, as I said, I printed out the first 20 entries in this new list. And you can see that here I have the year, which is now an integer, the state name, the annoying double quotes are gone, the party name, the annoying double quotes are gone, and the integer values of the votes cast for this candidate and the total votes. And so now I have this data structure. Now, in running this, I discovered I got an error because the state of Minnesota, for interesting reason, does not consider Democrats to be Democrats. They are Democratic Farmer Labor Party. So I went through, and to make it easier, I just changed that. I looked for the Minnesota candidates who were listed as Democratic Farmer Labor, and I changed them to Democrats. It just made my later analysis easier. So that sells just to deal with the weirdness. At any rate, now what I want to do is get rid of anybody who's not a Democrat or Republican, since no third-party candidate won any states in this particular time frame we're analyzing, and we're just going to ignore them. So this is also what I did in class. I simply am going to go through and select out the Democrats or Republicans. The previous cell got rid of the Democratic Farmer Labor issue, and so this gives me my core results, just Democrats and Republicans. And for verification purposes, I printed them out to make sure that this works. So the code works up till now. Now, this is what I was having trouble. This is where I ran into a stall in class because I had forgotten how I'd solved it over the weekend. And I realized after thinking about it that there's an easier way to begin with. I created a dictionary. So all of my results are going to be in a dictionary, and this dictionary is going to be organized by state. So in other words, the top level keys in my dictionary are the state names. And then within each state, I'm going to have another dictionary whose keys are the year numbers and whose values for those years are the Democratic and Republican votes received in that year. And this cell right here, cell 34, is going to be how I solved it. So I go through my two-dimensional list of core results. Just for simplicity of referencing things, I called the first value the year, the second the state, the third the party, and the fourth the votes. You don't have to do this, but it makes your subscripting and referencing easier. Here we go. If the state is not already in my keys, then I need to add it. I will add a new line, a new entry in my dictionary that says the state is here, and it is the value associated with that state is a year with the party, a list of the party and votes. Okay. With this, I did not need a separate constant that contained all the state names. I just read them in from the data I already had. Now, if my state name is already in my dictionary keys, it's already a key in my dictionary, then I look to see if I have the year in this in my dictionary. If I don't, I simply add another year to the dictionary with the party and votes. Otherwise, I already have the state, I already have the year, I already have one party in, I just have to append the other party and its vote. To test that this worked, I printed. We actually count DC, District of Columbia gets 3 electoral votes, and I see that I had 51 states, so this works. Now I ran my code to look in detail and to make it not just that I had 51, but that I had the actual values. And so I printed it out. This is just a check to see that everything is working correctly. And you can see that indeed I have all of the correct data here. I put in a couple of blank lines printing to make it a little bit more readable. Here's the key. To count the states, I simply started for each state in the keys. And each state that's a dictionary key, I started with the number of Democratic wins being 0 and the number of Republican wins being 0. For each year, I checked to see if the number of votes for the Democrat was greater than the number of votes for Republican. Now, you'll notice that sometimes the order changes. Usually the party that won comes first. Not always. There are some exceptions. So I check to see which party comes first. If Democrats come first, then I do this to decide who won. Otherwise, Republicans come first, and I do this to decide who won. Then to check my results, I printed out each state how many wins the Democrat had and how many wins the Republican had. I happen to know, as I said, that in Alabama the right result was the right answer was Republicans won 11 out of 12. In Alaska, they won all 12. You could come down and check each state. The District of Columbia, the Democrat always wins. The Republican gets about 5% of the vote. And so you can go on and see. So now I have the information I need, and it's easier to use a dictionary, and you do not need to define a concept of your list of states. And if I thought about that just a little bit more, it would have worked. But at any rate, hopefully that's a little bit of a help.